Episode
81.
Yeah. We're in the 80s.
I remember the 80s.
Flock of seagulls. I barely remember the 80s because I was young.
Yeah.
Younger.
Yeah.
I had a bad haircut, though.
Did you?
Thanks, Mom.
It was great. I just had all the haircuts.
Yeah.
Like literally every haircut you could have in the 80s I had. I even had like a Kirk Cameron haircut at one point.
Ew.
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron.
Yeah.
Blech.
It was weird. I had
Blech.
flock of seagulls. I had mohawk. I had like side hawk. I had like a rat tail at one point, I'm sure.
I did too. But
you?
I mean, I had an excuse because I was 7. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, welcome to 2021, the first episode of 2021.
I have a headache.
Yeah, well, the weather's changing.
Well, it's also all the sugar I've eaten in the last week because usually, I don't eat sugar really. And we've done a really good job up to now to not eating sugar.
Yeah.
And usually when Christmas happens, we go over to someone's house for dinner and have a couple cookies.
Because that's what you do.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But because we were all on lockdown, we had cookies delivered to us in the boxes.
Yeah, I know.
Box full.
Cookie! Nom, 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 nom. Oh, nom, 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 nom.
So we've been eating nothing but cookies from, my sisters.
Yeah,
Both
cookies
my sisters bought
and
cookies.
Bailey's. Oh, and you mentioned a thing that I did not know is that you used to drink your Bailey's out of Kinder eggs.
Yes, because Kinder Egg chocolate is not very good. But what we used to do is we used to pour Bailey's in because you used to split the Kinder Eggs in half, and then pour Bailey's in it, and then drink the whole half of the egg Bailey's, and then go,
Bailey's, ow, ow, ow. And then
and then eat the egg. So I've been full of sugar. So I probably have a headache from all that sugar.
Yeah.
Because, and this will bring us into the news.
Yeah.
We were good people and saw basically no one for Christmas.
Yeah, we did the whole, because we were told by our government.
Legally, we had to not see anyone.
Right. And so my one son who lives here in Calgary, he lives by himself. So he got to have one.
He had to choose.
He had to choose. And he chose his girlfriend, which I don't blame him because we've had lots of Christmases together. Right. And but yeah, so we did our part.
We played video games and ate a lot of food, which was actually a perfect way to do it.
I would love to say that we finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but we did not.
Well, we did.
We killed all the cultists.
Well, we finished the main story.
Yeah.
We have a billion other things to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we drank and we ate and we played video games, and I don't really care about Christmas as we've talked about. But as we'll get into our quick news story, as we wrote on the board, the cats were away. We didn't play.
No.
But fuck all those cats.
Yeah, well, because it's huge. It made it to the New York Times.
It did.
DVP News right now.
Right. So a lot of Canadian.
Was it the New York Times or the Washington Post?
Ooh.
It probably made both of them.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, and so Canadian politicians made the national and international news by literally ignoring everything that they told us to do and fucking off and having their vacations with their family elsewhere.
Yeah.
And people are rightfully pissed off about this because for those of us who have been really good and diligent in making sure that we wear the masks, that we, social distance, that we stayed at home, that we didn't do any non-essential travel.
Non-essential travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to go to Bavaria this Christmas.
Yep. Yeah, and
but we didn't because we're responsible adults.
Yeah, and me even working at a hospital, we get emails all the time from the bigwigs at the top of the food chain at the hospital saying, please limit your social interaction with people. You have a responsibility to really, we're not telling you not to see people, but we are kind of telling you not to see people because if you get the hospital sick, you're fucked, right? And we have outbreaks at the hospital left, right, and center.
Yeah.
So we know that it's not illegal to travel, but they say don't travel.
Yeah.
And there was a lockdown in Alberta, and they said you can't see anyone outside your household. And if you are single, you have up to 2 people that you can see. And what did these politicians do in Alberta and elsewhere in Canada? They ignored it.
Right.
I am so pissed.
Yeah. So
I am pissed. And one guy in Ontario, even like, because he knew what he was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, I'm sorry, I had a lack of judgment, like
Yeah.
other politicians have done, which is still like stupid because they knew
ridiculous.
what they were doing was wrong. He photoshopped himself in his living room on Christmas Day from Hawaii or wherever he was. He's quit.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's since resigned.
I'd like to see that Photoshop job. Is he good at Photoshop? Does he have a career in, digital manipulation after this?
I don't know, but there's
just a really terrible.
There's a GIF going around right now on Facebook of Mayor Quimby from The Simpsons, because there was an epidemic or a pandemic in one of the Simpsons episodes where he says like, "Oh yes, Mayor Quimby, I'm staying in Springfield," and the camera pans out and it's him like in Barbados.
Get those kettle drums out of my office.
Out of my office. Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah. So that's we're very angry, and even on Facebook posts of the UCP members in Alberta saying like, "Oh, I apologize for going away," and blah blah blah. There's even people who are like, "I voted for you."
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Oh yeah. Well, but the problem, of course, the problem is bigger than this because it ends up giving validation to the people to ignore what they say.
Yep.
So they've caused, and that's what makes me so mad. Is not that I'm doing without, is the fact that they're now fueling these anti-mask insane people to be like, well, we don't have to listen. Obviously, it's not a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's totally a conspiracy. If they're not going to follow it, then they know something that we don't.
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
So,
yeah. And there's people who are saying like, well, travel's not illegal, so I hope they had a great vacation. And you're like, well, that's not really the point.
It's not the point at all.
It's not the point. Yeah. And if they catch anything while they're gone, they're contributing to the spread, and they're supposed to lead by example.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And they've just created a whole new problem of people who. Yeah, exactly what you said. I'm not going to repeat it because I'm mad.
Yeah. So that's a thing.
Yes. So we're mad. And that's the news of 2021, which is funny because how we started 2020 was we went to the Cats movie
and that's
on
what
New Year's Eve.
Started this whole thing. We're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry that we created a rift in the space and time universe of the Cats fiasco.
It put us into a really weird timeline.
We're sorry.
Yeah.
We're very sorry.
But I think maybe the producers of Cats should shoulder some responsibility. It shouldn't just be on Dropbear and Panda.
I just find it interesting that we ended 2020 or 2019 watching Cats.
And this is what happened.
Yeah.
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 Well, yeah.
Well, we're going to try to make this podcast a little quicker than usual.
Yeah.
We've decided it's going to be a review and preview.
Yeah. Stuff that happened, stuff yet to come. Like,
let's go into our reviews.
Yeah. You start the reviews.
Now it's time for Dropbear and Panda's reviews.
So, we're going to do a quick fire. Well, probably not really a quick fire because have you met us? Actually, many of you haven't. We're delightful. You should.
Yeah.
But not right now because
social
distance.
While you kick this off, I need to go get my far away glasses.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, go.
First, this is near. Right here, near. Mm-hmm. This is far.
So back in January, Canada won gold versus Russia in the World Juniors, and actually we're playing right now in the World Juniors, which surprises me, but doesn't surprise me because COVID's still a thing. Yeah. But I mean, hockey's important.
Hello out there, we're on the air, it's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice. The goalie jumps and the players bump and the fans all go insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game.
I think we have just made the semifinals. So go Canada, go Canada. So we beat Russia last year.
There was the Australian wildfires.
Yes.
That they called the Black Summer.
The Black Summer. And that decimated pretty much all of Australia.
Yeah. So hopefully they're on the mend. I haven't really seen anything about it or followed up on it. I know that the koala population was in dire straits for a while, and we ended up sponsoring some koalas.
Yeah, and I think it destroyed like a whole lot of animal species. So there was the Beirut explosion. That was on August 4th. Yeah. That I actually, and I feel really bad when I saw that. I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Because I was going through like what happened in 2020 sort of thing. And we on this podcast try to stick with good news.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff we actually didn't talk about on our podcast because we try to not
That's right.
bring people down.
Yeah. There was, it was back in February, the CHIME telescope received a repeating signal 500 million light years away.
Yeah, and that was in Canada.
Yeah.
We actually tried to send them socks.
Yeah, but we couldn't find their secret location. They got returned.
That was the only, and I think we mentioned that last podcast, it was the only set of socks that we had returned to us.
Yeah.
Which is too bad, but maybe good because we only sent, one pair of socks to the CHIME telescope?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Who knows how many people actually, maybe they got taken over by aliens.
Could you imagine like the aliens like with their socks?
They're like, we don't have feet.
They would be perfect for Sock Rocket. The aliens. Am I right?
But maybe the aliens don't have feet. Maybe they have tentacles, or maybe they're just mists. Alien mists.
Speaking of aliens, one of the greatest things to happen during the pandemic was the release of actual footage of UFOs and the acknowledgement that, yep, they're out there.
And 2020 was so weird that no one really paid attention
Yeah, it's
to
just
it.
like, yeah, we knew. We get it.
Yeah,
Moving
whatever.
on. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Murder hornets.
Yeah, which are still kind of a thing. In some places, they were finding them.
Yeah, they found, was it BC or was it just south of BC?
Yeah, I don't think it was in Canada yet, but I could be wrong.
Sucked them out with a giant vacuum or something.
Murder hornet vacuum.
Blah, 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 blah. Also, a South Korean woman visited her dead daughter in a virtual reality, which was a part of a show.
Yeah.
I think.
That's weird.
Which some people applauded and thought it was great for grief counseling, and some people said that was not okay.
Yeah, it was really weird.
That was back in February, I believe, as well.
And of course, May 25th, George Floyd was murdered, which kicked off another round of Black Lives Matter with a fever pitch, which it should.
Absolutely.
And
that's still going.
It's still going because shit is still happening. And it infuriates me and drives me crazy. And, for all our Black friends out there, we're with you.
Yeah, we're still with you. And that's... still speechless, actually. I don't really... so many things to say and not enough to say.
Yeah, not enough words.
Speaking of, and this is going to sound really bad, speaking of something that's also not done yet, the U.S. election.
Oh, my God. When is that going to... So January 6th is when they are supposed to, say that the Electoral College votes the... my words are escaping me.
How is this not done yet?
Because Donald Trump is an insane person.
Like, is this normal? Like,
No.
the January 6th thing, is that every time?
Well, I believe it's every time that they say, okay, we now well, we now, accept the Electoral College votes. But normally it's not an issue because the outgoing president will say, thank you so much to the incoming president, regardless of the party, after the official election has been done. Like once they say like, oh, okay, you won the popular vote and the Electoral College, congratulations. And then the transition happens. That hasn't happened yet. It's just been fucking chaos down south. And of course, there's all sorts of stuff where people are being called to arms in Washington, D.C. for the 6th.
Nancy Pelosi and I want to say Mitch McConnell, and was it Mitch McConnell as well? Yeah. Nancy Pelosi had a pig's head on her driveway with blood or fake blood everywhere. I'm not quite sure which one it was. Yeah, their houses got attacked and not destroyed, but graffitied, vandalized. Yeah. It's gross. Whew. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And another thing that I'm angry with, which is why I don't like I really don't like talking about politics because I get very angry.
Yeah. So we're going to moving on.
Yeah. But that's not done yet and might not be for a while.
In a round of amazing things that happened, we did get more nominations for our podcast.
Yeah.
So we got the Canadian Podcast Awards. We were nominated there
for outstanding production in a series in the spring.
Yeah, and then we were nominated in the People's Choice Podcast Awards alongside the likes of
Kevin Bacon and Amy Schumer.
That's right. And through it, we met some new friends at the We Need to Talk podcast as well. And we all came in second place.
Yes.
So we tied.
We were all tied for second place. We are all 1 degree from Kevin Bacon, which makes all you guys 2 degrees.
Congratulations.
From Kevin Bacon.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So that was really exciting. And of course, we shouldn't have to mention that this was the year of COVID.
Right. That's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It's a thing. But also new rapid development of vaccines, which is good news.
Well, yes. And on one hand, they also, I guess, say that they've been working on a coronavirus vaccine for ever.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how any of that works.
Well, given how fast they can sequence shit these days with computers and models and all the rest of it, it doesn't, it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I will 100%, as soon as that vaccine is available to me, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
I got vaccinated against the flu this year because I didn't want both.
Yeah. I told you to do that. I don't tell you to do much.
Yeah. But the very first day vaccine was available to me, like 9 o'clock in the morning, I went to Shoppers Drug Mart. I'm just like, do it.
I will get the COVID vaccine before you.
Yeah.
It's the one perk about working for a hospital.
So you're going to get the chip implant before I will.
I will, and my Wi-Fi is going to be off the hook.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
5P.
Yeah. 5P?
Panda.
Oh, 5PG. Aww. I think that, we went to Maui.
We did. And it kind of kicked off the
our
whole
COVID
experience.
Yeah. So when we were in Maui, we went first week of March.
Yeah.
And we didn't really still know what COVID was. While we were in Maui, I got sick, actually. I got a bad respiratory cold.
Yeah.
And I thought that I was maybe allergic to some of the weird plants out in there. But it turns out, no, I was actually ill.
Yeah.
And we heard about people hoarding toilet paper, and we even saw when we were flying back, people had masks in the airport. We were like, what the hell's going on? So we were like, oh my gosh. And they were doling out hand sanitizer, and we were like, this shit's getting kind of weird.
Yeah.
So we got back, I went to work for 2 days, and suddenly they were like, no, people have to quarantine. So I was like, am I on quarantine? Am I not on quarantine? What's going on? And they said, finally, no, you need to quarantine because I was still ill.
Right. And you got tested.
I got tested. It was negative. Those in the nose tests are actually pretty awful.
Yeah, I didn't get one of those. I got the other kind. But day 4 of quarantine is when I had you shave my mohawk.
Yeah.
Which I still have kind of right now because my hair's growing out because we're not allowed to go to a barber.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm happy to shave your head, which is fine. But yeah, those nasal tests are pretty awful. My head it scratches your brain. I swear to God, my eye was, I was like, ugh. And she's like, are you right? I was like, yeah, just give me a sec. And my eye started tearing everywhere. And I have to say, 14 days not being able to leave your house is pretty awful. We did a couple short films called The COVID Diaries.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine being in an apartment and not being able to leave your apartment for 14 to 21 days. That would drive me nuts. But I mean, I like being alone. I'm okay with it. But not being able to actually leave a small area is really hard to do.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Jeb Fink over at Crossroads Market. Because Jeb's Joint had delivered us a box of food during that time.
Oh, yeah.
Which was awesome.
So lovely.
Yeah, so good. And the one thing I was thinking about today is we were talking about things you miss, things you don't miss. And one of the things that I miss about our COVID experience is how the world was actually together for the first month. That really the streets were like, there's nobody on the streets. That, you know, we were all doing our very best to look after each other and to thank our healthcare workers and all the rest of it. Now we fast forward a bunch of months and we're in a completely different place. And
Everyone hates everybody.
and I get it. I totally get it. And some people are coming unstrung, and I understand, but I miss that time when had a shared experience and we're all helping each other. And I think that, you know, what I'd like to have from this podcast is, let's do that again. Let's like just fucking reset your head and let's help each other out. I know it sucks, but we got this.
Well, remember when, you know, like 100 cases was a big deal,
right.
200 cases were a big deal. In Alberta now, like in 24 hours, it's like, oh, we have 1,700 cases, and people are like, nah, whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm still gonna
skate on this ice rink.
It's a health crisis.
Yeah.
Our hospitals are overflowing.
Yeah.
You'd think that once the hospitals started overflowing, people would actually give a shit.
No.
Because the problem with hospitals overflowing, whether it's from COVID or like a massive like planes falling out of the sky, like you have a heart attack, where are you going to go?
Oh, yeah.
You could die from on the way in the ambulance from like being picked up North Calgary to being sent to like High River, which is further south of Calgary, right? Like this is a problem.
Yep.
Whether you think COVID's a big deal or not, the hospitals are full. You should think that this is a big deal, whether it's COVID or an earthquake.
Absolutely.
It's a problem. What I miss, pubs.
Yeah.
And again, like I'm used to being alone. Like my ex-husband used to travel a lot. Like I lived alone for a long time after my divorce.
You must
like,
be going crazy with me around the house a lot.
It's been a bit of a challenge, but I think we're doing great. But I don't miss people as much. Like when my sister brought us cookies, like I got a little verklempt because my older sister and I used to hang out a lot, and I miss my nephews. Like I miss my immediate family, but I miss pubs. I miss the experience of pubs, that kind of thing, hanging out with people in a pub, not necessarily people in particular as much as that playing cards in a pub, having beers, having like the pub food and hanging out with people in that situation. I don't miss hugs. I don't miss that kind of like I don't like mounds of people, which is funny. Like I miss pubs, but I don't miss mounds of people together.
Throngs.
Oh, we doing a dog pile?
Heck yeah, Dogpile?
Heck yeah, dog pile.
Yeah. So that's kind of funny, but I'm not like a germaphobe or anything. I don't know. It's interesting what I sit and think about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
I miss being on stage.
I miss theater. Absolutely.
I'm like last time I was on stage was a comedy show. And that was a lot of fun with Taproom in Airdrie and down in Okotoks. That was really great.
I'm still surprised you did it in a pandemic.
Well, I mean, it was all the protocols were in place. The seating was by table only. It was all like very, very professionally run.
I haven't been in a show for a year.
Yeah, and I haven't been on stage at Loose Moose since we left to Maui, because I was in the kids show. Sherlock Jr. was going to come up again. I was just starting to play Saturday nights. Yeah. I'm usually in 2 to 3 theater productions a year. Yeah. And that's 2 to 3 months of rehearsals. Yeah. And then, tech week is, 7 to 10 days. And then you're in a show for, 10 to 14 shows. Yeah. And I usually do that 2 to 3 times a year and nothing. Yeah. And, they say, do what you love because that keeps you alive. And I haven't been able to do that for a year. And I'm slowly dying inside. Yeah. Well, we'll get back. 2021, man. We got the podcast every other week. We're going to do some film stuff coming up. Yeah, we're still working on Home for the Apocalypse. We also have got a pilot that we're working on. Yeah. So we're trying to keep our artistic vision alive, but theater is my baby. Yeah, it's your outlet for sure. Yeah, it's what I took in university, and it's what I need. The last news that we have. What is your predictions for 2021 before we get into our next section? Okay. So my predictions for 2021 is very short war down south. on Wednesday.
The South is going to be glowing for the next while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Joe Biden will end up, finally becoming president along with Kamala as the vice president. And I think there will be some stabilization, which would be great, much needed. Although I do think that the U.S. is so polarized right now that it's going to leave a mark. Like, I can't see myself traveling to the U.S. anytime soon. Still,
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it might be specific place I go. Like, I'd go back to the Hawaiian Islands just because it's very not.
You might find some UCP politicians there.
Anyway, so that's prediction, number one that way. I think that we're going to be back to relative normal by next fall. So we got another.
See, and I disagree.
Yeah, well, you maybe know more than I do because you're in healthcare, but I think that, for the most part, I think that we're still going to have masks for the next year. That's going to be a thing that's going to last for a while. I think things will slowly start to open once the vaccines start rolling out. So I don't know. I'd say that probably November. Like, I'd like to start traveling again next November, December.
Well, I don't think the general public is going to be able to get vaccinated until the fall.
Yeah, oh.
So I don't think that anything's really going to be able to happen until 2022.
You know what's weird though?
I don't think. But I don't know.
Where was it that vaccinated like 500,000 people in
Israel?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it's done. Mm-hmm. Like, figure that shit out. Can we model that? Because just make that happen.
And I don't know why. So I haven't. I heard that was a thing, but I didn't read any of the articles.
Drop darts from the sky. Ow.
Well, maybe they make the vaccine there, and they were just like, they just make them there, and they just did it. And Israel's not full of anti-vaxxers, so they don't have that problem. Right. Or maybe they made it mandatory, or I don't know what the thing is, but yeah, they managed to vaccinate like 6 million people or something like that in like a very short period of time. So, they closed down the borders, and they're also very militant there, right? Because they have to be, that area is.
It's a powder keg.
I'm not going to get into. Anyways.
Yeah. Moving on.
But yeah, so if they're not going to be able to vaccinate in Canada anyway, or at least Alberta, the general public, until at least the fall. Yeah. I can't see anything getting any better until after that. So until next Christmas, we're probably still going to be.
Well, maybe you're right. I will make this prediction that
I'm terrible at predictions.
When I get vaccinated, and when you're vaccinated, and maybe a month or two after that, once we've figured out that everything's normal, it can be travel time.
The other thing I didn't mention is Brexit finally happened on December 31st. So maybe Britain's just going to float away.
Oh. Its own little Pangea.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping
into outer space.
And I don't know what that means, because there's the COVID and then there's Brexit. So what is going to happen to them? I mean, I know they're only a small part of the whole planet, but I mean,
they're pretty major.
How?
I would like my eldest son and his new wife to get to Canada. I predict that's going to happen this year.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see how everything goes, but I mean, they want to get the F out of there. So
yeah, well, I'm going to start making calls to government people soon.
Well, I mean, how can you get a hold of them? They're not here.
Well, I've got their down in the Caribbean. I've got their hotline.
Let's just all go to the Caribbean and stay there.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Caribbean, we're coming.
Yeah. I would be much happier if I could just be isolated, but on a beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last news that I wanted to talk about is that we got a new sponsor.
Yay!
Sock Rocket, who for every one pair of socks that is sold through them, they give away 3 pairs to people in need.
I know, I love it.
And we also have a new sock jingle for them as well.
That's true.
So why don't we play the new sock jingle by Rob Mitchelson, and then we'll get into our Save the World.
Perfect.
Sock rock.
sock rocket. Buy a pair of socks. The Sock Rocket team will give away 3. That's a lot of socks. Or get the Sock of the Month Club. Sock Rocket socks gonna rock the socks. Sock Rocket socks gonna rock the socks. Sock Rocket socks gonna rock the socks. Sock Rocket socks, get a sock subscription. Get yourself socks. Get some kids socks. Get a box of 20 socks. Get a sock subscription. Get some custom socks. Custom socks. Sock Rocket socks are socks for socks. Sock Rocket.
Okay, so saving the world is a thing that we do every episode. We try and shine a light on people who are saving the world. Let's get right into it.
It's time
For Dropbear and Panda to save the world.
Okay, so this episode, we would like to do a shout out to surfer Mikey Wright. Mikey Wright is an Australian surfer who is in the Hawaiian Islands and saved a woman from drowning, getting caught in a riptide.
Hold my beer.
Which is, it's pretty epic footage of this guy. Like, the riptides are terrifying. You and I got trapped in one at Wiccan-ish.
Yeah.
Just outside of Tofino.
I thought we were going to die.
I was pretty sure I was done.
Yeah, that was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, very first time that's ever happened to me in all the time that I've spent in the ocean. That's the first time that I was just like, I'm fucked.
Yeah, and I know that you've had a couple near-death experiences before, but that was my first, and I was legit scared.
Oh, yeah.
Like, legit scared.
Yeah.
And I got to the beach before you did, and
It happened quick.
it was... I mean, I've had fight or flight before, but that was the first time that I legit thought I was going to die.
Yeah, gives you a whole new respect for the power of the ocean. I'll
Oh
tell
my
you that.
God, that was awful. But, yeah.
Anyway, so, we'll put links to the news article here, but basically what was happening is this lady was getting pulled out just ripped along the shore in this riptide, hence the name. And people were trying to help her, but they couldn't get to her. And of course, I'm watching this footage and I'm like, well, this is how many people drown, is when you go out to try and help somebody and end up,
You both die.
You both die. But Mikey Wright, who obviously, as a surfer, spends a lot of time in the ocean, understands like how these things work, and also comes from Australia where everything is trying to kill you, waded out into the riptide, managed to keep his footing and help her out while they're getting pummeled by the waves. And anyway, so Mikey, we're going to send you some socks from our sponsor, Sock Rocket, for helping save the world one person at a time.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an incredible story, and it just happened. And I want to say that they were out there for the surfing competition that happens in Hawaii.
Yeah, probably.
Every year. And those waves, and when we were in Hawaii, we saw the waves there, and they were massive. And that was, just absolutely incredible. The waves out there. Is that where they filmed?
Oh, Point Break?
Point Break. Might not be where they filmed Point Break, but...
Vaya con Dios. Remember like that one last wave? Yeah. Hold my beer, Keanu. I gotta go out there for that one last wave.
Yeah. Anyway, Mikey Wright, you kick ass.
Yeah. And I mean, we picked out this new sock jingle just for you. So
Obviously,
which was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rob Mitchelson.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, new sponsor, Sock Rocket.
sockrocket.ca.
And thank you for spending another year with us, even though it was a total disaster.
Yeah.
Hopefully 2021 is going to be better.
Yeah. I've been Dropbear.
I've been Panda.
This has been Dropbear and Panda.
Save the world.
Sock Rocket, a Sock Rocket. Buy a pair of socks. The Sock Rocket team will give away 3. That's a lot of socks. Or get the Sock of the Month Club. Sock Rocket socks gonna rock the socks. Sock Rocket socks gonna rock the socks. Sock Rocket socks gonna rock the socks. Sock Rocket socks, get a sock subscription. Get yourself socks. Get some kids socks. Get a box of 20 socks. Get a sock subscription. Get some custom socks. Custom socks. Sock Rocket Socks are socks for socks. Sock Rocket.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Sock Rocket at sockrocket.ca.
This podcast was recorded at the Dropbear and Panda studio at Sea Space King Edward.
Special thanks to Emery Quartz for the kick-ass theme music.
Yo,
Don't forget to subscribe.
it's Dropbear and Panda, yeah.